Okay, photo students, I'm going to show you how to shoot your depth of field assignment using the Lightroom mobile app. So I'm going to launch the app. And I was in camera when I closed it, and so it'll open back up in camera. But if you're not in the camera, I would go to the stack of books and, as usual, create a new album so that you can organize your images. I'm going to call this depth of field shoot. Hit OK, and I've been doing some tests. So we're gonna go into this album that I just made, and once you're in the album, hit the little camera icon and that'll launch the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset everything, because chances are you'll have something more like this when you come into the app. And the first thing I would like you to do is switch to black and white. So you'll hit these 3 circles. I suggest flat black and white. I think the high contrast is a little too high contrast, and you could always adjust it. Or in this case, I'm in open shade. It's pretty even light. So in this case, I actually prefer the high contrast, so I'll go for that. You will be able to adjust it afterwards. So I'll hit the circle. I'm going to make sure up here that I'm shooting in DNG. That just means raw. And later we'll talk about how to edit those photos. My shutter speed right now is auto, and my ISO is on auto. You can control both. So I would probably start with maybe 200 or 400 for an outdoor open shade scene. And you just touch it and slide the slider. Now, you'll notice I have plants that are very close. These plants here are very close. You want something that's at least a foot away from the camera. You want something very close to camera. You want something in the midground. For me, the midground are the plants and the bench, and then the background would be that bush back there. And that bush in the background is actually 25 feet away. So you want something that's 1 foot away or less, something that's 5 to 6 feet away, and something that's 20 feet away. And so I have all 3 things in this shot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit this auto here. And this is how you control your focus and your depth of field. And so you'll see as I slide it, the focus changes, and so does the depth of field, how much of my image is in or out of focus. And so what I want to do is find the very edge where just the foreground is in focus. So right now, you could see that this papyrus plant in the very foreground is in focus. So I'm going to go ahead and take this image. And I really suggest doing some in between. So this would be here. And notice how the bench in the background is really blurry. And so now if I go all the way to the max, you'll notice the foreground and the background are in focus. And again, I suggest taking a few photos, and afterwards you'll be able to pick the ones that you think are the most successful.